Welcome to lesson 3. It's about problems associated with rural settlements and solutions. Let us begin with problems or challenges of rural settlements in Rwanda. We have poor transport and communication facilities. Our villagers use poor roads, and from one household to another, sometimes we find it is impossible, even for a vehicle, a car, to reach. So they end up using bicycles, motorcycles, and still on poor roads. When it comes to communication, very few villagers in our country use telephones. Then we have low levels of education. We have few and poor schools in villages, and you find even manpower, people who provide services in these schools in rural villages are substandard, and therefore they produce substandard pupils. Then we have poor medical care. We have poor hospitals in our villages, and therefore poor medical care is obvious. Even the services provided in our local rural hospitals and clinics are substandard. Then we have easy spread of diseases, because this is associated with poor sanitation, congestion, poor toilets. People don't wash hands. Then we have lack of social services, especially hospitals, schools, water, this is clean water, electricity, etc. Some people live in darkness. Some people don't have clean water. Next, unemployment. Most of our villagers are not employed. And on top of that, they don't even have skills to get the jobs. Even those who have skills and fear to move to towns cannot get jobs in villages, because there are no industries to provide jobs. They only depend on subsistence farming for home consumption. Then we have limited markets. Even the produce they get out of agriculture does not have market. Their produce is bought at low price, and they end up being cheated. They produce a lot of milk, a lot of maize, and fail to get enough market. They are cheated at home. Then we have land and social conflicts. Villagers are ever conflicting because of land, because people never went to school. They want share from their father, and at the end of the day, they end up fighting and conflicting over boundaries for land, etc. Then we have underutilization of resources. Most of the resources in villages, like land, water, forests, are still lying idle, because there is no capital to use to exploit these resources. Even the skilled labor is not there to use in exploiting these resources. Poverty and poor standards of living are common problems characterizing our rural areas. People are poor because they earn less, others don't earn at all. So the standards of living are poor. They eat poorly and sleep poorly. What are the solutions now? What can we do? What should the government do in order at least to reduce these problems or solve them completely? The government should extend housing and construction schemes to rural areas, such that people who would have run to towns looking for better houses stay in those houses that the government builds in rural areas, encouraging investors, foreign and domestic investors should be encouraged to first invest in villages in order to reduce rural-urban migration. Then development of rural areas by providing facilities to attract people to settle in villages. For example, extension of clean water, electricity, and better schools to the villages. Transport and communication networks should be improved and established in villages. Then implementation of regional balance policies by the government. The government should make sure that it balances development within different villages and rural areas. If it builds a school in Kigali, a powerful school, another school should be extended to Bugesera, like Gashora girls, such that people don't see a big difference between education in urban areas and in rural areas. Provision of credit facilities. Let us begin with mass education. People should be educated and sensitized about the danger of migrating to towns. And those in villages also should be educated that they should solve social challenges that they face, not running to town as a solution. In case they face a challenge, they should sit down and look for a solution before they run to towns. Then I think there should also be this policy of go back home policy for those who are not employed in towns should be forced to go back to their villages. Then we have provision of credit facilities and soft loans such that villagers and other investors can get enough money to establish infrastructures in villages that will at least attract people to remain there. Thank you.